It's more like 10, but yeah, that's besides the point. Anyway, what you guys are watching right now is a condensed news version of our daily automotive news show. So we go live every morning around 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we go for about 20 minutes to an hour where we have conversations with the community, hang out, and just talk about the day's car news that happens on our Facebook page. But after that, we go live with this segment, lasts about 10 minutes, and just covers all the car news so that you guys have everything you need to be up to date in the car world. So if you like that, if that's something you want, think about following and subscribing to the page today so that you guys can be up to date on everything car news. But with that said, let's get right into it. What you guys are looking at right now on your screen is a photo that showed up on Aston Martin's website. Now, this is interesting because that photo wasn't tied to anything. This Aston Martin Valkyrie actually doesn't really look like any variant of the Aston Martin Valkyrie. It doesn't look like the regular road-going car. It doesn't look like the AMR Pro. So what the hell are we looking at? If I had to put my money on it, I would say what we're looking at is a potential hypercar entrant from the folks over at Aston Martin. This car could do battle with the Toyota, with the Bicols, with all the Ferrari, everybody that is competing in the Le Mans hypercar. Other than that, this thing looks... it's over here. This thing looks crazy, and as a reminder of what the Aston Martin Valkyrie is, it is a 6.5-liter Cosworth naturally aspirated V12 engine that combined with hybrid power makes 1,160 horsepower, 664 pound-feet of torque. That engine needs to be rebuilt every 60,000 miles. Not that you're going to be taking your Valkyrie 60,000 miles. This thing revs to 11,000 and costs $2.96 million. So apparently we're going to be finding out later on this year what this car means. But if I had to put my guess on it, I would say this is the brand's hypercar entrance. The next vehicle that we're going to be talking about today is the Peugeot 308 Sport Wagon. Now, the reason why I'm showing you guys a new vehicle from a French car company that doesn't sell cars in the United States is because Peugeot has been rumored to come to the United States for pretty much a decade now. So keeping you guys up to date with their cars not only is just interesting because, I mean, look at these things, right? Like, this thing looks pretty awesome. But also, if they come here, you'll know their lineup. You'll know what you're dealing with. So the only variants that I'm going to read you in terms of what the 308 is offered in are the ones that I feel as though will come to the US. Now, for you guys to get an understanding of the size of this vehicle, the 308 is roughly a Jetta Golf competitor. So this car specifically would be a Golf Sport Wagon competitor. What you're looking at, though, and what could come to the United States is a vehicle that's offered with two plug-in hybrid variants. Both of them use an 81 kilowatt motor with a 12.4 kilowatt hour battery, and they're mated to either a 150 horsepower gas engine or a 180 horsepower gas engine, which gives you a combined rating of either 180 or 225. This plug-in hybrid variant can do 37 miles of range on just battery power only, which is pretty impressive for a plug-in hybrid vehicle, and to be frank, what the majority of people in the United States would do on a daily trip. So there's a very realistic possibility that you could drive a 308 SW plug-in hybrid on just electric power only, having that gas engine in reserves if you were to do anything like a road trip. Now, the Peugeot design is one for the record books, in my opinion. I love modern Peugeot design. I think this thing looks so much more engaging than a Golf or Jetta or something like that, especially considering the fact that it is priced in the same ballpark. So keep an eye out for that, because this would definitely be one of the vehicles offered should it come to the United States. A car that is definitely coming to the United States, though, is this guy. This is the Elantra N. Now, the Elantra N promises to be a Jetta, somewhere in between a Jetta GLI fighter and a Civic Type R fighter. What it's likely going to be powered by is a 2-liter turbo inline-4, making around 275 horsepower. It'll be mated to either a manual transmission or a wet dual clutch. That wet dual clutch is actually Hyundai's proprietary system. So All Hyundai for both of those transmissions, which is pretty awesome. 275 horsepower, fantastic number. But Till Wartenberg, which is the vice president of the End Brand Management and Motorsports Division, says the Elantra N is a high-performance sedan that reveals the sportier side of our exceptional all-new Elantra. We designed it to be a race-proven sports car with dynamic driving capability and style that performance enthusiasts love. It's important to remember that Hyundai uses this Elantra, not this one, obviously, but they use the Elantra as their touring car vehicle, so it does actually have some race cred. This isn't like a Jetta GLI, which isn't raced in any series, right? So I'm excited to see this. It'll be digitally unveiled later on this year, and it promises to be pretty freaking awesome. It looks pretty dynamic already. You got a spoiler up here, probably dual exhaust, nice wheels. I'm overall a fan of the Elantra's design. I think it'll translate very well to a sportier model like this. And when the Civic goes very nondescript and bland looking, you got the Elantra going in the opposite direction. So it'll be interesting to see how this car performs when it comes out. Now, the next car that we're definitely getting here in the States, well, not this variant, but this is the Audi RS3. First question I know you guys are going to have is, what the hell is that 12453 on the side? And what that is the firing order of the engine, so you guys actually know which cylinder fires first, so you guys can have that order, which is pretty interesting. The engine has also been confirmed, right? 12453. That means that this thing is going to use the turbocharged inline 5-cylinder that we know and love from the fine folks at Audi. Confirmed also is the horsepower number. We're looking at 394 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. That horsepower number is exactly the same to the current generation model, but that torque number, 15 more. That 15 more pound-feet of torque made it to a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, and that all-wheel drive allows this thing to do 0 to 60 in just 3.8 seconds. Now, the most interesting thing about the new RS3 is the fact that it leverages a torque-splitting rear axle, which uses multi-play clutch systems on each of the rear axle shafts, and that allows the all-wheel drive system to send the power entirely to either or of the wheels. That means that this car could send 100% of its torque to the right rear wheel if it wanted to. Now, those of you that are astute Volkswagen Audi group people, you'll know that that same all-wheel drive system is what underpins the Golf R, the new Golf R that is coming soon. Audi made a lot of commotion, or a lot of, hullabaloo, whatever it is, over the fact that it is not the same system. They put their own tune on it, but all the mechanicals are the same. So you're effectively looking at an inline 5 turbo version of the Golf R. And for those of you that remember, you'll know that the Golf R wanted to use an inline 5 turbo. Audi said no. And that's because they're going to use all the same shit in their RS3. But with that new all-wheel drive, that means that the RS3 will have a drift mode. Hooray! Guys, can't you tell how excited I am? Wow. Drift mode. Hooray. Huzzah. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. The car that I'm most excited about to talk about today, let's try that again. The vehicle that I'm most excited to bring you the information of is this. Now, I know it's underneath a sheet, and I know you guys don't actually know what it looks like, but it's real. What you guys are looking at right now is the Lexus version of the Toyota Land Cruiser. This is the Lexus LX. And what has been leaked are the 3 engines that are going to be offered in it. And why I think that's important is because I know that these are going to be the engines that are going to be showcased in the new Toyota Tundra, of which we saw the first photo of. I showed that to you guys yesterday. So let's just get into it, because these 3 engines are going to be very important, because Toyota, like most automakers, leverages their same engines in a lot of their vehicles. And the Land Cruiser, the Lexus LX, historically have shared engines with the Toyota Tundra. So why not again? So let's get into it. The entry model for the Lexus LX is going to be called the Lexus LX 600. It will leverage a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6. That twin-turbo V6 makes 415 horsepower, 480 pound-feet of torque. Now, the Middle East will also get a diesel variant That variant will get a 3.3 liter twin turbo V6 diesel. That diesel will make 309 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. But the most exciting variant of this Lexus LX that was unveiled is the top of the line, the flagship, the Mac Daddy, the chief, the president, the boss, whatever. That's the LX 750H. This model will add hybrid power to the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 for a combined horsepower and torque total of 480 horsepower, 642 pound-feet of torque. Now, for those of you keeping score at home, that is about 70 horsepower more than the Power Boost F-150, okay? And about 70 torque more than the Power Boost F-150. Now, the reason why I think this is going to be the engine that powers the top-spec Tundra is because when Toyota unveiled the Tundra, they showed a lot of concepts, a lot of teasers. One of those teasers was the engine cover to the Tundra. What we saw there was 6 cylinders, and we saw a logo that was blue. Now, usually when Toyota uses blue in most automakers, they reference electric power. So it's pretty safe assumption to assume that that 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 will get a hybrid form in the Toyota Tundra. And if it does, these power numbers of 480 horse, 642 pound-feet of torque are best in class by a wide margin, which is also how Toyota operates. Toyota comes out with something that blows everyone out of the water, and because of that, because of how far ahead their power plants are, they can afford to keep them in production for 10 years plus. So that is all the news we have for you guys today. In just 10 minutes, you have all the information you need to be up to speed on everything car news. If you guys enjoy everything automotive, you'd love to be up to date with all things car news, do not forget to subscribe to the MoneyShift channel on YouTube and follow the Facebook channel, MoneyShift Podcast. I am Thanasi on behalf of MoneyShift. I will see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.